Hi everyone, I'm Echoes and I'm a VTuber, and I'll be taking the time to go over the last episode of Witch Hat Atelier for the season, episode 13. This is where we get more of the first direct confrontation involving the brimhats, though we have encountered brimhats earlier in the season, of course. But yeah, but regardless, it's pretty important, and it does end at an interesting point as well. So yeah, anyway, looking forward to talking about this, so let's get started. So in the beginning, we essentially have Qifrey with the girls, and he's telling Coco that if Agott is still using her shoes, even if they have some issues with them, she must have liked the spells. So Coco is quite happy with that. So it makes sense, and Coco is very good at straight lines. And then we get a liar's hat coming in, which usually is a sign of trouble in this case, because hats are pretty important. And then they get attacked by the serpent serpent bridge. And you see that the apprentices taking tests are running away from the brimhat as much as they're able to, but it's not easy, especially since Euini doesn't have he erased the mark on the cloak, making it so that he can't really hide as well. See that this the brimhat is trying to find them, is a sinner's trying to hide their nasty little secrets. So this is where they try to find a way to escape. Especially, but they're hindered by the hole in the bridge. And what solution they found was to actually do what Lyra did before, which is to cover the bridge in ice. So yeah, if you freeze it for so we won't have to worry about gaps in the seals. And then she uses it, and Richeh creates their what do you call it? Their sled, of course, of sorts, so that they slide really quickly. And you see that Reach is struggling because she doesn't actually know that many spells, so that's why Uni gives her his book. And then God's like, "What? Why the heck is this happening?" It's because of Coco, right? And she is able to kind of connect the pieces here. Tetia said the same thing while we were running from the dragon from earlier. This time, Clem doesn't have an ordinary two apprentices, and then this is where God's trying to dissuade the brimhat here. It's like the person you're looking for is in here. Wasting my return won't get you anywhere. But then you can see the brimhat doesn't believe her because he believes that all of them are liars. So he is restraining her here. Point caps of the present are weaklings who fear their own power. And then she smells the ink. It's like, have you ever dreamed of more? Want to grow up instantly? A world where you become a child forever, become your ideal self. Why become liberated from the shackles of the flesh? So it looks like he's saying that they're trying to bring about a world and also what type of hat witches are meant to wear, because as you know, in currently witches are in, or at least in the current day, witches are always known to have brim hats, right? So it's an interesting connection that they make here, that brim hats are the real witches. We simply seek to hasten that moment's arrival, for that sacrifice must be made. And then let's see, if I would offer her the tool of your salvation, would she be able to turn down the miracle our magic offers? He believes that it will be tempting enough. Children who don't wish to face the test, but it is how they learn and grow. And then you can see he's trying to tattoo her. The brim hats caps sometimes tattoo seals onto themselves. And he worries, and then she's worried, I don't want to lose everything because of this. And then you can see that she's remembering her past, like, I haven't been able to prove myself to that person. That person is most likely referring to her mother, because she is a person of high power. And then Richeh and Euini are working to save her. Or Uni's under the bridge, and then Richeh's over it. So it looks like Euini here is quite happy because he's able to do something useful. Do you think covering up for my deficiencies will lead to something that's useful here? And then you can see that he imagines like, oh, I was able to do well this time, Master. I might be able to do different things. And then you can see that the brimhat is able to find him anyway. If you only use spot, especially in hidden way, maybe it could have spared you. And then you can see like, oh, I'm going to give you a new form now. Any person spell that leaves the surface of this road. Let's see. I think there's something. That's weird. Any person or spell leaves the surface of this road should be affected by the Romonon's ancient spell. In fact, that means that we're still in danger. We have to get the master. But the issue is that they see Euini, but he has been transforming. Sadly, he tells them to stay away. It feels myself, and he can tell he turns into a wolf here, which is a pretty jarring imagery right here. And then he runs away here. They think it would integrate the scale wolf fur used to make the cloak. For research on forbidden spells had stagnated since it's lost to time. Frequently don't know what they'll do until we use them. Want to save him, what entirely happens next entirely up to you. Richeh is like, I want to help him. I'm going to save Euini, and even when I don't want to abandon a friend. I know it's not the time for tests. But then you can see Agott's like, someone has to tell people what happened here. Valar and Euini, and then you can see that Agott's like, I'm going to go after him. Because I can adapt more. The spells you learn are biased toward the things that you like. So you can see that Agott goes on her way. And then Richeh falls toward the exit. And then you can see that Bruxbug comes out of the ground here. Stuck out of the ground. You can see that Coco's still knocked out, but she wakes up first out of the people here. While Qifrey and Tetia are still knocked out. What happened? Master protected me. And you can see that she's trying to help him, but he is startled by it. And then she mentioned, oh, the glasses were cracked, so she thought that she'd remove it for him. But yeah, but that's his not good eye, so he doesn't want to remove that. And then you can see that they're surrounded by the Romonon people here, because they're all gold statues. Witches stand among us, those who change us into these forms, vile witches. Are these the old people in Romonon transform alive into gold decorations? So he's trying to pull himself together, even if he got the really nasty back wound. And he's trying to protect them, because I'm your master here. They say, stay close to me. And you get this really cool transition of the manga panel here, where I think it matches the end of chapter 23, which is where the season ends. So yeah, overall, it's a really interesting episode, as essentially we get most direct intervention of the brim cap here, compared to the other one who Egwene was a bit more like subtle and was like, you guys gotta figure out yourselves instead of directly intervening, while this guy's directly intervening. And then also we have the differences in the apprentices doing their own thing, and also Euini obviously is having issues because he was essentially directly tattooed by the brimhat, transforming him into a wolf based on the cloak he had, sadly. Because the issue with the brimhats is that sometimes even when they do spells, they don't exactly know what it will do. Whatever, maybe I don't know if it's because of lack of education, or they just are less knowledgeable on a base level, but regardless, it's still pretty scary that even the brimhats don't always know the results of the magic they conjure or they create. But yeah, it definitely ends at a cliffhanger, because it kind of ended where I expected the season end, was essentially with when they fall down into the cave, which is a pretty important part of the show. Pretty important of this arc in particular, especially since it involves Romonon people. But yeah, anyway, so most likely, if they're, I heard that they're working on season 2. They most likely will work on, finish up this arc and then continuing on it. But yeah, it's regardless, pretty serious stuff, and we'll mostly finish the arc in the next season. But yeah, overall, I think this season has been very good. I feel like over 13 episodes, we adapted about 23 chapters or so, which is pretty much about roughly like an episode and a half to chapter and a half to 2 chapters per episode, which is pretty impressive. Or one, like for example, episode 1 particularly is one one chapter because it's super long. But yeah, I think they did the best that they could do here. I feel like we can't really get a better Witch Hat adaptation than this, and I hope they could continue onward because this is pretty awful place to end because it just makes you want to read more. Though if anyone wants to read, they could essentially continue from chapter, I believe, 24. But yeah, I think I'm looking forward to whenever the next season airs because we're definitely not ending it just like this. Um, yeah. All right. That's all from me, and thanks for watching. I'm looking forward to talk about Witch Hat more whenever the next season airs because I believe that they're currently in production, so we just need a bit more time with it. All right. That's all from me, and thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day.